Hey guys, today I wanted to share with you a song that is very dear to me. It's called If I Had Only One Friend Left, and it's by an artist. This song was actually featured in one of my all-time favorite movies, The Mighty Ducks. So for those who haven't seen this movie, it's about a lawyer who's really successful but kind of a jerk, and he's sentenced to do community service coaching a youth hockey team. And so he starts off really angry and bitter about this, but the team kind of grows on him and he starts to enjoy it. And this song plays during one of the final scenes. They didn't include the entire song in the movie, which I thought was a mistake because it's such a great song. So this song talks about friendship, obviously, and how no matter what happens in life, you always have your friends to fall back on. And they're extra verses, and they each talk about different times in the speaker's life with his friend. The first verse talks about how they got through everything together. And then the second verse talks about how even if things weren't fair, even if the world wasn't fair to them, as long as they had each other, that was all that mattered. And of course, that's true. Having a good friend is such a blessing. We've all been through tough times in our lives, and it's nice to know that you have someone to lean on. Someone who will listen to you. Someone who won't judge you, who will be honest with you, who will tell you the truth, but in a kind way. That's what a good friend does. A good friend doesn't just agree with everything you say or do. A good friend will tell you what you need to hear sometimes, even if it's not what you want to hear, but ultimately wants the best for you. And I think that's what this song is getting at. So without further ado, here is If I Had Only One Friend Left by Hanson. I always thought you were the best. I guess I always will. I always felt that we were blessed. And I feel that way still. Sometimes we took the hard road, but we always saw it through. If I had only one friend left, I'd want it to be you. Sometimes the world was on our side. Sometimes it wasn't fair. Sometimes it gave a helping hand. Sometimes we didn't care, because when we were together, it made the dream come true. If I had only one friend left, I'd want it to be you. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye. Well, this is one of my favorite songs from an amazing artist, and here's why. There's a lot of great songs about friendship out there. Songs like Friends in Low Places or the Best Friend song by Queen, even Lean on Me, but this one kind of takes the cake for me. This is a song about friendship that isn't afraid to show every emotion in the book: anger, sadness, frustration, joy, elation, everything. It's a rare song in that it's not afraid to be vulnerable, but it does so without ever losing its cool. The very first time I heard this song, I was already blown away by how instantly catchy it is. I mean, even though the song is slow, it has a great beat and the lyrics are incredibly easy to remember. But what really got me was the bridge, because up until that point, the entire song is just a montage of good times and bad times with your best friend. There's no actual story, which is actually kind of brilliant because it gives the listener a chance to insert themselves into the narrative. But then the bridge happens and everything changes. Because in this one short paragraph, we finally get to see what the narrator would do if they only had one friend left. And the answer is, of course, the friend that they've been singing about the entire song. And the fact that it's so matter of fact just makes it even more powerful. It's one of those moments where you suddenly realize the depth of the friendship in the song. So let's take a look at the lyrics. As always, all the lyrics in this video are color-coded to help you follow along. And if you want a large print version of the lyrics, just click the link in the description. So the first verse begins with the narrator stating a fact. They always thought you were the best, and they guess they always will. It's a pretty strong opening because right off the bat, the song is clearly about someone special. The second line is a bit more vague, but it implies that the narrator feels blessed to have this person in their life. And again, it's a feeling they still have. I love the way this song kind of bounces back and forth between past and present tense because it gives the song a real sense of nostalgia. The last four lines describe some of the challenges they faced with this friend. Sometimes they took the hard road, but they always saw it through. This is an important detail because it shows that this friendship has stood the test of time. If they could make it through hard times, then nothing can break them up. The chorus then kicks in with an interesting scenario. The narrator imagines a world where they've lost everyone except for one friend. And in that bleak situation, they say they would want it to be this person. It's a bold statement, but it shows just how much this person means to the narrator. In the second verse, the lyrics begin to change slightly. Instead of focusing on the narrator's feelings, this verse is more about their experiences with this friend. Sometimes the world was on their side, sometimes it wasn't fair. Sometimes it gave a helping hand, but sometimes they didn't care. The important thing to notice here is that none of these actions are specifically called out as being good or bad. They're simply stated as facts. This is another example of the song's restraint. By not labeling these moments as good or bad, the narrator is able to include both positive and negative experiences in the same breath. And I think that's great because it shows that the narrator doesn't have rose-colored glasses on. They understand that friendships aren't perfect, but they wouldn't trade it for the world. That leads us to the refrain, where the narrator makes a bold claim. When they were together, it made the dream come true. What exactly does this mean? Well, dreams are notoriously difficult to interpret, so who knows? Maybe they were chasing a dream together, or maybe they're referring to a literal dream. Either way, the sentiment is clear. This friend makes life better. The final chorus then repeats the same scenario as before, but this time it has a bit more weight behind it. After hearing all the stories from the verses, the listener is fully invested in the narrator's journey, which means the final line hits twice as hard. If I had only one friend left, I'd want it to be you. And that's why this is one of my favorite songs about friendship. Thanks for watching.